Hi guys, this is AC Gamer back with another video on Tower of Fantasy. So as you can see from the title, Claudia got buffed. Claudia is probably going to be one of the best characters to actually save for. We do have a skill description, as you can see with the pictures right now. There's two parts and I will be talking about the changes made to the global server, and she did get a buff. So overall, physical team, actually not really physical team, because her buff works for every single team. So you can use her as your main supportive character, and that's going to be very good. So this character, yeah, if people are still thinking about summoning for Frigg, yes, you might want to summon for Frigg if you love the character. But if you guys are free to play and you're still trying to run meta as well, then yeah, Claudia might be the character to save for. However, one quick disclaimer, this is just a leak right now. Technically, this is the current skill she has. However, this is subject to change. This skill might actually change when she comes out. There's a couple of months before she comes out in the global server, so it's more likely there's a chance that this skill might actually change. But I still think she will still remain as a buffed character, just because physical characters in the game in a global server are relatively weak, because Mark in the CN server is available. Mark is absolutely broken and it makes physical team absolutely amazing. However, the chances of Mark coming to the global server is very low. That means they need to buff up the physical team, and that's why she got all of this buff, which makes her an absolute amazing character. Now I was planning to skip on her, and I was planning to summon for Corbo B, but yeah, we also got leaked for Corbo B. Corbo B got slashed. Her nerf happened, so she did get a nerf, or quote-unquote balance, if people like to hear that instead. But I personally will be skipping on Corbo B if her skills remains the same, and I also will be skipping on Frigg, because yeah, I feel like Frigg is just mainly used as a ice resonance character. But with Claudia over here, yeah, Claudia is absolutely amazing. Now let's take a look at the difference between the CN version and the global server. Let's take a look at it. So the shatter and charge value is the same in the global and the CN version. Now her initial attack as well as resistance and HP actually got buffed in the global server. In the CN server it was 14 for attack, whereas in the global server it's 16. For her life in the CN was 1010, whereas in global it's 1165. The full resistance in the CN was 5, whereas in global it's a 6. Now I will say that Claudia literally got buffed in every single aspect. Maybe her stars took a little bit less hit with the buff, but anyways, let's take a look at the fully charged weapon skill. So in the global server, fully charged weapon will inflict 137% of attack with the next attack and makes the target grievous for 6 seconds, taking 20% extra damage. Now as you can see, it doesn't say 20% extra, it doesn't say 20% physical extra damage, it means 20% damage overall, which makes her universal and an absolutely amazing supportive character. This is very good. Now if you take a look at this skill in the CN version, the skill is still the same, it looks like. So 137, yep, that remains the same. Increases damage received by 20% that causes, yeah, it's the same as well. So the traits is the same in the CN server. Going over to her elemental resonance, yes, she did get a physical resonance. Now you don't actually need to use her for physical team. Like I said, she is useful in every single team. So increases physical attack by 15% and physical resistance by 25%. Activate by equipping 2 or more physical damage weapons. So this is going to be very good if you want to make your physical team absolutely amazing. However, if you want to say which team is better, the ice team will still win, just because Shiro is not the strongest shield breaker. Mel is still the strongest shield breaker compared to Shiro. Shiro is good, but not as good as King, Mel, or Humor in my opinion. So if you're going to build a physical team right now, you can only use 2 characters, I think. So you would use Claudia, you would use Shiro, and then the next one you could probably just use another elemental character. So if you want a healer, then you would use Nemesis. Nemesis would work perfectly fine for this team as well. Now let's take a look at the 1-star skill. I think those ones remain the same as well. So 8%, 25 seconds, yep, that's the same. So yeah, the 1st star advancement is still the same in the CN and global server. Going over to the 2nd star, yep, it's also the same. 3rd star, it looks like 10%, yep, 15 seconds, yep, it looks the same as well. Stack up to 1 time, yep, it looks the same as well. Going over to 4-star, increases basic attack, it looks the same as well. So in the 5th star, hitting target with skill or discharge skill grants damage boost, which increases all damage by 20% for 25 seconds. Effects cannot be stacked. Now obviously getting out to 5-star is less likely if you guys are free to play, but if you guys get out to 5-star, this is going to be very nice to have. and the 6-star I believe is also the same. So yeah, nothing was changed with her stars. Now let's move over to the second skills where we have for her, and where we can notice the damage increase that she actually got. So all of this skill looks like it got buffed. So the quick slash one in the CN server, the percentage for that was actually 163% for 8 damage. Now in the global server, that's been increased to 177.8% plus 9. Instead in the CN server it was plus 8, and the percentage was also different. So that's a very nice buff. Move over to the next skill with the jumping strike. So the damage was also increased. So in the CN server it was 127.4% plus 6 damage, whereas in the global server it is 139% of attack plus 7, so it's increased plus 1 as well. Moving over to Cyclone, the percentage has also increased, yeah, by a certain amount. So in the CN server it was only 43.8%, whereas in the global server it's a 47.8%, so that's a nice 4% increase. It's also been increased from a plus 2 in the CN to a plus 3 in the global, so that's also nice. Moving over to the next one as well, the damage is still the same, 600%. Yep, I think that's the same. Where else has been changed? Yeah, okay, so the part where it says when falling deal damage equal to 10% of attack plus 1 each turn, that is the same. But the next part where it says upon landing deals damage equal to 76.4%, in the CN was only 70%, so her damage was also increased by 6.4% over here, and it has been increased from a plus 3 to a plus 4. That is going to be very good. Sneak attack, I believe it's also the same. Yep, it's also the same. So I want to take a look at the Unbridled Flurry, because I do feel like this would have gotten a massive buff in the global server. So when weapon is fully charged or Fantasia is triggered, switching to this weapon from another weapon removes all debuffs from the wielder, who charges and strongly suspend a target, dealing 523.5%. Already I can see that damage has been increased compared to the CN server, which was 479%. So that's actually a huge damage buff for that. That's very good. What else has changed? So blah, leaving behind a blade storm that deals 209. That's also been increased, because in the CN that was 192, whereas in global that's a 209 plus 9 damage in the CN, whereas it's plus 11 damage in the global, whilst granting immunity to grievous freeze, burn, electric effect. Ooh, that's actually very good. So in PvP, absolutely amazing character over here. Great supporter, and it looks like they also buffed her damage to also increase her damage, just because Shiro is not going to be dealing the most amount of damage compared to the other shield breakers in the game. So if you can increase that even more by having this unit, that's going to be very good. Overall, Shiro plus Claudia is going to be very nice. However, personally, I don't think I will be using a Shiro. I'm probably just going to use Claudia as a main buffer for all my other teams. So for example, my Volt team, for Ice team, if I'm not going to summon for Frigg, I could just use Claudia instead. So essentially, Frigg compared to this unit is not that good. So if you guys are thinking of a character to save for, character to summon for, now I'm a little bit upset about the nerf with the Cobalt B, because I was planning to run a fire team, but it looks like I'm not going to be running a fire team. I think her damage did take a little bit of a hit. Now the reason why I do feel like they did decide to balance her a little bit was just because in the CN server she was amazing for dealing huge amounts of damage to the bosses, so I do understand decreasing her damage, but once again it feels like it's a little bit too excessive for her, and obviously the skills might actually change before she comes out. We have to wait and see. But if this is how Claudia is coming to the global server, she's going to be an absolutely amazing character to go ahead and summon for. I'm going to happily skip Frigg. I'm also going to be happy to skip my Cobalt B just to get this unit over here. Tell me down in the comment section what you guys think about this buff that was given to Claudia. She seems like she's going to be an absolutely amazing character. Physical teams definitely needed this buff in my opinion, because Mark was not going to come, it seems like. But there was a leak with the translated version of Mark's Matrix, but I'm not sure whether Mark is still going to come to the global server. But we will have to wait and see what the devs decide to do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, stay tuned for more content on Tower of Fantasy. It's been your boy AC Gamer, and I'm out.